But I'll
Well,
say to
mhm.
further the question that's scrolling right now, if that is the case, it goes to my opinion about all this Black Lives Matter stuff and all these activists. A lot of times we got to take stuff with a grain of salt because to that point, you're not there. So you don't know if people are just like, oh, this is another situation to get Black people all riled up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, so
Mhm.
we be the most extreme because, like y'all saying, oh, people stood there, they didn't do anything. Oh, he was smaller than Q and got choked out by a white man. All those factors. That's why I stopped watching TV a long time ago. All those factors, you know what I'm saying? That shit plays a part in how we perceive information, and all of it is very extreme. So it's
Mhm.
like I'm just getting this information today and trying to just analyze all of it and look at it from a realistic perspective as possible. Like if I was in that situation, y'all already know how I felt about, the female officers showing up and all that shit. Um, yeah, not saying he deserved to die, but if he getting choked out and that shit went left, unfortunately it went left. We was just happy that you restrained the nigga because he was doing too fucking much. You know what I mean? Um,
So
but
you
yeah,
would have let it go down, Q?
I think a lot of stuff gets played up to to pander to race. You know what I'm saying? Like, and how Black people are gonna take that. Like, oh, we're gonna pin it so that we show it's a black and white thing, and then we'll take it here and we'll leave out these parts, but only the people who are actually there know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the odds of those people coming forth to be like, nah, y'all don't get it. Fuck Black Lives Matter. This what really happened that day. That's very slim. Nobody's really going to come out in large numbers to get the full story from their perspective. Once the media gets a hold of it, once social media gets a hold of it, it takes off like a fire. And then you find we're back on these conversations about how this should never happen in America, with, to Mary's point, a Marine who should know how to handle himself in that situation. No disrespect, Mary, but fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? He's not supposed to know all of that. If he was a police officer supposed to be diffusing the situation, that's different, but that's not his job in that moment. You know what I'm saying? They really are trained to kill. So he
Yeah.
happened to get the wrong hands and wrong fucking day. It's like fuck around and find out. If that was a situation, there you have it. That's how I see it.
Hmm. John the Baptist with the $10 super chat. We have to recognize that if you hurt someone in this situation, you can be held liable. If this dude is dead, he can't sue nor can he hurt anyone else. Judged by God in 12, not carried by 6. Hmm. Hmm. I feel like
John,
that
that's
a lot. I feel like that kind of. I feel like his sentiment is kind of like yours though, Q. Even though
okay.
it's like not super cohesive, but I feel like I know what he's saying. One more in quotations. Lady called the Marine. How long was the train ride for these murdered? They saying they choked them. They said 2 or 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and I think the next stop was maybe. I think the whole ordeal was maybe 10 or 15 minutes. If that's what you're asking. Oh, shout out for the $20.
Shit like that. Shit like
Wow.
that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Will
Shit
with the
like that.
$5 super chat. The personal safety of me or my children supersedes any empathy I would have for this gentleman's mental health. That's a fact, though.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
Agreed.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
Yeah,
Shit like
no,
that.
So
that's a
let
fact.
me
So
let me ask you this, Q. Would you have, with the limited information you've been given about the situation, would you have said or done something about him being choked out for X amount of time? Or would you just been on the train like the nigga was wilding, he getting what he getting?
Yeah, definitely the second option. Like if you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying nobody should just go around killing people. You know what I mean? Like if he got punched out, that's cool too. But he didn't. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I would see that. But he got dealt with. Like in a situation like that, we have to be realistic. Like if y'all, I mean, I know you probably feel like, well, if I was done there with my kids, I just wait to the next stop. What happens in a situation where you can't? What happens in a situation where this nigga brushing up on you, now he face to face with you? Are you gonna have in that moment all the right tools if you hear one of your kids start to cry? No, this nigga about to get washed. And if
No,
you knock him out and he happens to die accidentally because you didn't know that he had 4 brain surgeries, that he cannot get hit on the left side of his head no more. Nobody knows that stuff. Now,
I think
I'm saying that it doesn't make it better because you're black.
so.
That's still with murder, right?
Yeah. So the comments to that point, Q was saying if he was black, he'd be in jail. I think he got charged with manslaughter. I could look it up real quick. Somebody do me a favor. One of the moderators, look it up for me real quick. I think he was charged with manslaughter. Uh, Mike, you with the $5 super chat. New York does not have a stand your ground law. He killed a man. That Marine belongs in jail. And I think he was charged with manslaughter. Somebody fact check me on that. Isha, what say? Go ahead, Mr. White.
No, I was saying, yeah, that's a fact.
Word.
I agree too. He need to be locked up because, and if we're only basing it off of the information that we know, so the kids piece cool, but he didn't have his kids with him, and he didn't touch nobody, and you killed him. Like, throw that man under the jail. And if I was there and I didn't have my kids, nobody is going to kill a black person in front of me, especially a black man or a black woman in that situation, right? Even if he's wilding, okay, you got him down, like, okay, he's good. I don't like people being like taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So like once he's down, you got three people on him. All right, like get off his neck. You know what I'm saying? Get off him. What's wrong with you? So that's my 2 cents.
Ish, what say you?
Well, as a woman, if I'm taking public transportation in a city like New York, I know the possibility of bumping into somebody with mental health issues. So I'm going to have stuff on me that's going to protect myself. Mace, whatever have you. Like Adrian, I don't think he should have been choked for that long.
Rock said, oh, go ahead. Ish, my bad.
Yeah, I don't have nothing else to say.
Nah, so Rock said he is facing a felony charge of second-degree manslaughter. He could receive up to 15 years in prison. Penny is currently free on $100,000 bail. So I said Kid Rock put up $1 million for the bail or something. And I know $1 million was raised. So you saw Al Sharpton, right? You saw what he said. He gave the eulogy, which throws me off. I didn't know people you don't know give you a eulogy. Also, Dr. Umar on his Twitter, he posted that video I showed you guys. What is it called? The caption had his dates of appearances. That's it. So he's gonna be in Chicago this date, Tampa this date, like, you know what I mean, like his tour. So it didn't have anything about the video, just used the video as clickbait, and then had the tour dates on it. So I do the same thing. I'll post like a stupid video on Instagram and like meet me at the park at this time or this club. You know what I'm saying? So that's that kind of that part of that question. Along with Black Lives Matter, you see what they were doing with the money. She paid her brother $850,000 for security services, whatever else the case. Are these activists or race hustlers?
I read your lips, Ish.
Ish, you say they race hustlers?
I don't care for Al Sharpton like that because what is he doing? He shows up, him and the attorney Benjamin Crump. They show up at every tragedy, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. I don't care for them, and they're not doing nothing for the family.
Yeah, and I just feel like us saying, well, let's go through first. So just overall, you got, I'm sorry, I gotta name them. You got Umar, you got Tariq Nasheed, you got Al. I think Jesse tired of getting caught up in scandals. I think he just chilling. You got Ben Crump. You know, I'm just naming the popular ones. You know, are they activists or are they race hustlers? And what I mean by race hustler is that exactly they making money every time these situations occur, and no change is being effectuated. My stance on my perspective on asking it like this is, because the woke culture, they're activists, right? We used to go and march and be right behind them. But if we see them as race hustlers, is that woke shit fading? Or are we trying to look at the real about what's actually happening for our people when these situations happen? Go ahead, Alex.
I agree with Isha. I cannot stand Al Sharpton. When he comes on, I'll be like, Lord, here we go. But I have a question. When these situations happen, do they call? Does someone get in contact and say, hey, bring Ben Crump down here? Or is it the media that makes them say, okay, let me come and be at your service? Because I feel like for a homegoing service, I think that's such a personal thing. And I would want to remember the person's life, all the good things about them, not have this be some type of political platform. And I just feel like it takes away from the situation because again, none of us were there. So maybe it was a race thing, maybe it wasn't a race thing. But then when you throw that the black woman who supposedly asked for the help was there, she was a woman of color. I just can't. I feel like they're, would you say, Hamp, race profiting,
Race hustlers.
race hustling? Like it's too much, and it's almost to the point of like, here we go. It's like it's political game for me, and I absolutely hate it. And every time they come on, I'm just like, oh, why?
Yeah. What you think? A, are they race hustling, or are they really got a real genuine agenda?
Yeah, they race hustling, man, and I say it again. I'm proud of my people, yo. Like I'm proud. We not supporting Black Lives Matter no more. Like I was really losing hope. I was afraid. Remember we did that show and I was like, yo, I'm afraid of the world that I'm raising my kids in because of the things that are being accepted. And it's like, nah, I got hope, man. I got hope, man. So definitely, and I'm gonna let y'all know because I'm probably gonna end up changing the world. Yo, don't let Al do my Hamp. You do my eulogy, bro. I hear you. You do my eulogy, man.
Shit like that.
Wow.
Shit like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off the dome too. Pause.
Right.
Chief, what's up, man? Are they race hustling or what? Are they genuine?
You want to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've been in the game for so long, and you know what I mean. Some people may believe in that shit, but at this point, I think the elders may believe in.
Okay, way to clarify.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
The elders may believe in their methods, but I think with their newly acquired knowledge of how this social media shit works, it's just a publicity stunt. It's they hustling the shit out the game.
That's a damn shame, man. Do you think the black people are waking up to this race hustling tactic? Like, do you think that, and we're using Jordan Neely, God bless his dead, as an example, like, are people overall and even black people now tired of the antics and this so-called ghetto shit that we always a part of?
Yeah, you can definitely see it. It's to Adrian's point. You know what I mean? Like, there's some shit going on. You know, where people are like becoming more aware of who's showing up to a lot of this shit. I think it started with people kind of seeing Black Lives Matter for what it needed to be seen as. Because there were those of us who was already on that shit, like aware of that shit way before. And you talking like, I'm just making up numbers, but like 50 people. Next thing you know, you blink and 500 people woke. You blink again, there's 5,000 people. It's like, okay, so y'all starting to see this shit for what it is. But yeah, they're definitely using it for personal gain. I mean, think about that. I just thought about this as we were on this podcast just now. Like when Obama was in office and Trayvon Martin got killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't before that. Were any of these motherfuckers around like that?
Well, you know, Al been doing it for a minute.
But besides Al, old ass.
Yeah, like Ben Crump.
Yeah. And
yeah,
then
they've
it's
been.
like,
Go ahead.
You have this happen, and then you have more tragedies that are very similar to this, and then that's like all that we see all of a sudden. And rest in peace to everybody who was impacted at that time, but it almost became like a trend. And then you see these people start to populate, and they're attached to this what feels like an agenda if you're really like paying attention. You know what I mean? So the way I see it, they definitely getting something out of it.
Yeah. Mr. Britt made an interesting comment in the chat. He said it's race hustling until it's your family. What you think about that, Mary?
It's still race hustling.
it's just like a lot of these families are profiting from it. Hey, I'll pay for these services if I could show up. I'll do this and that if I could. And I feel like I feel like we've become so greedy as well, where it's like we'll take anything for nothing. And that's what's messing a lot of shit up. Like I mentioned on the other cast, one of our podcasts before, where it's like, damn, Q, you more sexy the more you talk.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Mary, don't read the non-super chats. Good gracious.
Nah, I had to. That shit funny. But no, like I mentioned on a podcast before, like I feel like the woke shit is it's such a trend now. Like, like you mentioned, like most people don't really be woke. They don't. They just following whatever trend is going on and just repeating little tweets and shit like that they see and don't really have no knowledge of no real shit. Like I said, like these families is getting paid for it.
There was another comment in the chat said, black people will beat another black down quick. Al and Umar are legends in the community. Stop it. Is that thinking? Is that true? Are we beating them down and are we turning against them by telling what we deem to be the truth?
So let's put it like this, Q. I mean, like I said, I want to give old boy the benefit of the doubt, right? Mm-hmm. We're speaking specifically of Sharpton. But like, what has been the benefit of his presence?
Who, Al?
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. I think more people got lap bands since he lost weight.
So that's my point. Like, what has been the benefit of their presence? You just drawing more attention to an already terrible situation, but there's no real benefit behind it. Like, you showing up to, like, how empowered do you feel if it is your family and Al Sharpton pull up to the funeral? Like, motherfucker, my people still going. Like, it don't make no difference. You think what I'm saying? So, like, I don't understand. So that's why you got to call it.
The money do. That's what it is.
Yeah, I forgot about that piece. Like, if they paying the family to show up, depending on people's situation, can you really knock them for not taking that bread?
The family you're talking about.
Yeah, like the family, because I don't know how it works, right? So, like, is his people reaching out to the family? Hey, I want to come do the eulogy. We're gonna give y'all $250,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they're gonna give my family $250,000, you can't do. I'm gonna take that $250,000. I got
pull up.
Yeah, more than likely there was no life insurance on that man. With the state of what they saying he was in, I'm sure there wasn't no life insurance on the man. So it's like, hey.
Yeah, but even off this
whole situation is a hustle, right? Because it's like they hustling on one end and then the family getting the bread on the back end. So if Attorney Crump show up and be like, well, we can't replace the life, but I can give you this piece of money, which is basically what he does, right? Y'all hustling.
So are they sellouts? Now you be a sellout?
What happened?
But is the family a sellout at that point?
Absolutely.
On one end.
Listen, if I die and and whoever want to talk, they're gonna give my wife $250,000, $500,000. She better take it and let them say what they're gonna say. I'm gone.
Nah, that's bullshit, Adrian. Because you just said, well, I wouldn't let a black man lose his life in front of me, right? Why is that? Because his life has value to you, right? Mm-hmm. So if you died in that way, we ain't talking about you just went in your sleep or whatever, or you have fucking liver or kidney cancer, God forbid. We talking about how you went out. Yeah, she would be a sellout in that situation.
Nah, she would be following the order.
Benefited from how that went down.
Because they're making a mockery of you. If you want your family to have that bread, get the right life insurance. You can set up.
So here's the thing, and then you got to look at the number I'm saying, right? So my life insurance policy is crazy already, but that's still $250,000 more to let one of them niggas speak, and then you got to look at my situation too. Nigga, I got 12 kids. You know what I'm saying? Take that $250,000, nigga. You a fool if you don't, wife of mine. Let Al come, let Crumble come, let whoever want to do it, because I'm going anyway.
Okay,
but is that a sellout situation?
Okay, so
but is it a situation? And I guess I can see it making sense in the realm of black bodies who die every day at the hands of unfortunate circumstances. Now, yes, they are race hustlers, but if you've got Al Sharpton there, you are bringing more publicity to what happened to your family member. That is the flip side of it. But there is on the back end going to be that trade-off, right? And it's a matter of, do you quote unquote want justice? Do you want it to be swept under as just another Black person being killed? Or do you actually want an attempt to have some type of change, some type of reaction? So I think that may come into play also. But to have the man speak at your damn eulogy is just too damn much.
So that answers my question though, because I asked what they did, but I guess they have brought attention to certain situations and gotten some people justice, which is to be applauded. But it doesn't happen in all cases, and even in the midst of getting that justice for these certain families, it's still considered a publicity stunt. Like,
you know what's but Chief, you know what's crazy about us mentioning that family? He was begging for food that same day.
Who was that?
Jordan Neely.
And where was
the man that got choked? So it's just funny, like we talking about family this, family that, but they let him starve. It just, and I know I can remember Eric Garner's family had an issue with Al back then too. I can't remember. I'm trying to recollect, but I just remember them coming out. And how many of these boys have gotten justice when these people show up? Or what we would deem justice if we thought that the police officer was wrong or whatever the case was. Let me read this real quick. Mr. Britt with the $5 super chat. Ahmaud Arbery would have gotten justice if not for the race hustlers. I thought Ahmaud Arbery, I thought they went to jail. That's the dude in Georgia, right? When the two white boys
saying if not for them, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. He's saying the opposite of what you understand.
Oh, he would have never gotten justice if not for the race hustlers. Okay. So you think in that situation, because they brought so much attention to it. Also, I think it seems to be different when it's civilians, because those were civilians that shot him to death. And also the Marine was a civilian. So I feel like without that authority as a police officer, it's not as gray. So this man has been arrested. And manslaughter seems to make sense. But I read some qualifications for murder 2. So murder 2 would be like, let's say me and Adrian getting a tussle. I ain't gonna use it. Me and Joe Schmo getting a tussle. And while I'm whooping his ass, you could tell I make a decision that I'm gonna kill him. So premeditated is murder 1. Murder 2 is knowingly killing somebody. And then murder, like manslaughter, would be like negligence of some sort, right? So I think based on what we saw, I don't know if he made a conscious decision like I'm gonna choke him to death. So it seems like manslaughter makes sense, felony manslaughter. You know what I mean? Just based on how you qualify for each charge.
I'm gonna say this though. Adrian said he wants you to do the eulogy at his joint. I don't need you to do the eulogy at mine, but if police ever take me out, burn the motherfucking city down. Y'all niggas shit like that. If I have enough wherewithal to get out of the situation, so if police kill me, you know they try to, because I know how to get myself out of situations. Burn the fucking riot, tear the whole fucking block up.
As A with the we got you, G. Ask A with the $5 super chat. Black folk just be following Brett Favre charity hustle.
Wow.
That's true. Brett Favre was stealing. Who was Brett Favre stealing from? Like Wick or something?
Government, like Wick, yeah. The food stamp.
Good grief, man. Fuck Brett Favre. Bronze Bird with the $10 super chat. To the guys in the chat, if it's been a repeated mental issues of black men, then how come these activists have not created organizations to help our current day black men? Damn.
Shit like that.
That's what I mean. Like I know Dr. Umar is he still making that school in Delaware?
Ain't it done?
I think so. He just made a video a couple months ago talking about they busting the windows out. It was one cracked window. He's like, brothers and sisters, they are busting the windows out the school, brothers and sisters. Please hit the Cash App.